This is like what our this is yeah presented by Hacksaw baby. This is like how our phone calls go, dude. We literally sit on the phone for a hot minute. Yeah, I remember he said he's got to work today.
Yo, yo.
Yo yo, how you like that mic?
Dude, I like it. I like it. It's nice. It's really, honestly, the only mic I've ever had or used. So,
Yeah,
it's. I don't have a lot to go off of, but it's pretty dope.
I got one of these Blue Yeti things. Or I forget what it's called. It's not like the ball one, but it's like it's long.
The audio sounds good on it, for real.
Yeah, I think my mic is what's coming into you because it's on the stream PC. I can if I
Wait,
plug
what? Your
my
mic on your headphones?
no my mic on my fancy mic.
Mm,
Mic on the
cool.
headphones isn't doing nothing. I forgot how to type on Twitch on my phone. All right, cool. So I guess are we ready to move into the next topic?
Sure, yeah. We had like networking on here next is kind of like a
Oh yeah,
from
networking.
transition to good habits to kind of like networking as far as like, okay, so now that we have established some good habits with like a power list and like a little bit with like a calendar and whatnot, how can you use that to,
To
implement with something along the lines of like networking, right?
yeah.
So I know you were saying how important it was to network for like control point and shit. Can you share a little bit about like where that how that affected everything with like the the guy at the card shop and with like Two Def Gaming and all the other people that you now know and are a part of, and like let's hear a little bit about that, where that led you.
So yeah, I mean, I guess I'll try to start it off with who I talked to first in orders. Networking is such a powerful tool in like literally everything that you do. Like even in terms of like your dated like me my current job like uh I I try to make friends with like anybody who's a higher up, you know what I mean? Let's have 10 seconds of silence for Harambe. Caught me off guard. Poor Harambe. R.I.P. Harambe. no,
RIP.
no. So, who did I even talk to first in that? So, I mean, as far as networking for Control Point went, it just was all about. Really, all I did was I started. I was afraid to like really post and try to like reach out to people because I didn't want somebody who had like more money to just be like, "That's a brilliant idea. I'm gonna beat you to it," you know. So
Yeah.
I was very cautious with how I like reached out and talked to people. The first thing I did was I started talking to family and friends about it. And I actually one of my uncles who's a hardcore D&D and Magic the Gathering player. He said you
Nice.
should hit up Bluegrass Magic Game Shop. He said that guy has a ton
Mm,
of space and he's been looking to. He used to host because I started talking about. I was like, Super Smash is huge in our city. Like it's such a big,
hmm
and I didn't like. I never really. I still can't. I still didn't really at that point. I didn't even understand how big it was in our city. But um, he said you should hit him up. He's been wanting to host more gaming stuff, and I said cool. I hit him up on Facebook. He responded to me immediately and was like, yes, like let's meet in person and talk. And I was like, okay, cool. I
Hell
started
yeah.
talking to him just about like what I want a control point to be, because I think he was like, wait a minute, like, are you gonna be like a competitor? Like, no, I don't want
Right.
I don't want cards. I don't know nothing about that stuff. I don't know nothing about D&D, all that jazz. I don't have patience to paint those little game pieces. But like, started talking to him a lot about hosting events, and then not too long after that, I think I started posting about throwing an event, and then that's when Two Def contacted me. Um, they reached out to me, John. Me and John met at a coffee shop, and we just talked as long as his daughter would let us. Um, he, I like to talk, and he does too. So it's like really hard for either of us to have like a simple conversation. And John and Two Def are really cool guys. If I didn't say this earlier, Two Def is hosting a Rocket League tournament I think it's this Sunday, the 28th. I can't remember. It's in the Discord. Payout, first place payout's $100. So, if that's your game, bro, $10 entry fee, $100 payout if you win. Easy money. Anyways, next podcast, I want to see Donny in a princess dress. That'd take a lot of money to put me in a princess. First off, I have to go buy one. Second off. Anyways, and then, just all,
So far you have like, you got a spot for free, literally for free. I mean, sure, we had to give him a portion of the proceeds, but you didn't have to give him any upfront money for a venue. Cost. That was freaking awesome. Just from networking and talking to the people that you know that.
He literally just like talking to family got me that spot. He literally let me, let us come in there and do whatever we wanted. We set it up how we wanted. I mean, we couldn't sell food, which sucked, but
we took over the shop. Literally,
we took over the shop for a hot minute, dude. That was fun. That was a really fun, and I think it went like super well for our first like team outing like that.
Dope.
It was fun.
Hell yeah, man.
People were there all day long with us.
All day, man.
And that was like a solid 12-hour shift. Like
easily. I mean, talk about like even the freaking crew that you had to help, like with Lucas, Mike, and Two Def, and everybody that showed up there to help to set everything up without getting anything in return. Like, that's the power of networking right there. Is like,
we all got jerseys.
Dude, yeah, that was sick. That was freaking awesome. And we all just
fun.
Showed up to help. We found like-minded people that wanted to participate. And
I was the last one there.
Yeah, you were. You were the first one to show up, last one there. I think you were the last one to show up.
That's what I meant. I was the last one to show up, bro. That was fun. I'll never forget that. Yeah,
man, that was a good time. I'm excited for more in the future, man. That's gonna be dope.
I can't wait till we can start hosting events again. That was so much fun.
Dude, I mean, I feel like we can. I feel like we should post up at that shop again.
Yeah. Well, so did I ever tell you he wanted to sublease to me?
Yeah, I think
he wanted to give me half his space and use it as put like 20 computers in there and let that be the first like little drop spot for control point.
Yeah, I would like to know how his space is doing with control point, or I mean with the
with Bluegrass,
with the cards and stuff. Yeah,
I don't know. I don't think they're. I think he just physically opened back up. Like I think he was closed for a long time. I like message him every now and then, just making sure he's okay. But I think he just opened back up not too long ago, and I want to say he's hosting. So somehow he's doing like online events and stuff. Which that might be a negative to him in the future, but we'll see.
Yeah. So okay, so you got a gaming event space for free and tons of help for free just by networking and getting your name out there, letting people know what you do, not being afraid of judgment, ridicule, failure, any of that shit. Just kind of getting out there and being like, yo, what y'all think about this? Who likes it and who wants to participate? Like, let's hang out and have a freaking blast. Like, that's freaking powerful, man.
Hang on, I'm trying to comprehend what this guy's trying to tell me to do right now.
Natty?
Say, please for this, think in your head and say in the last two letters. Natty? Yeah, that's Natty. I don't get it.
Should we crack open some beer?
I guess so. Are you trying to tell us to just start drinking? Natty Ice? Is this high school again?
Is this high school again?
I was thinking about doing a TikTok where I was going to basically copy Furball and be like, because Furball always does stuff like, he's like, what your Fortnite skin says about you. And so like I was like, I'm going to do one where it's like, what your beer choice says about you. It's going to be like, Natty Ice, you're probably in high school and this is the cheapest and quickest thing you can get a hold of. Like,
yeah. Cheapest and easiest, yeah. Get
Yeah.
the homeless guy on the street corner that'll probably go buy you some.
Oh yeah, for sure. What was your question? Sorry.
Who, me?
Yeah, what did you ask me? Didn't you ask me a question?
Oh, I don't know.
Oh
We
no,
were
no, you
talking
said
about the
something about not
networking.
being afraid of being written. No, so like something that
Yeah.
I don't know if it's so much as an irritation as more so of a like I can't believe it, but like I feel like a lot of people when they get into streaming or they start making YouTube videos, they already have like most kids. I always want to say kids, even though they're not like even though like technically you have to be like 14 and up or 13 and up, but like it seems like everyone's afraid to tell their friends. Like they almost every single one of them have a social presence of some sort, whether it be Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, whatever. Like they've already have that, and then they make something completely new and separate for their YouTubes or whatever. And it's like, bro,
Yep.
like when I was in school, like it's different now. Like when I was in school, if you played video games and stuff, like you were like the weird kid. Like it was like,
Mm-hmm.
what? You have a gaming computer? Like, what the?
But what,
why?
you play video games? Like,
You play
what?
World of Warcraft, dude? What are you? Like,
yeah, yeah. It's like, what?
you into e-girls, dude? You freaking weirdo! Like, just like I used to like all kinds of different stuff. I used to like not tell people like, oh yeah, I play PC gaming, blah blah blah. Like, no, I just don't have an Xbox or PC or PlayStation. Like, why not? Like, well, I just don't play on consoles. But like nowadays, it's like everyone in high school and around high school age, even middle school, wants to be a streamer. It seems like they all know who the top streamers are. So it's like, why wouldn't you tell your friends? Like, why, like, if you already have, like, a social media page, like, personal page, why on earth would you make a completely new page for your, whatever you're trying to do, like, streaming, YouTube, whatever? Like, if it's a business type deal, that makes sense. Like, a business is a business, you have to make a new platform for it. But, like,
I mean, dude, even with that, man, I mean, people nowadays, they don't even want to, like, there's a lot of people out there that I think have a misconception, or it might be me that has the misconception, but like you said, Donnie, there's a lot of people that are like, oh, I need to recreate this and turn it into this, right? But people don't want to work with businesses anymore. People want to work with people that they like, know, and trust. So it's like Luke or Donnie the gamer. It's like I want to participate with Donnie, right? Or like Luke, I don't want Reliable Home Solutions, the real estate business. I want to work with Luke, right?
Yeah.
Like, people want to work with the friendly neighborhood guy or girl, right? They don't want this big company that's like blah 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 blah, right?
Here we go. We got a hard question to kind of break off the subject here, but hard question. What do you think your purpose in life is, and what do you guys want to tell young children out there? You want to go first? You want me to?
I could go.
Go.
So I think, okay, at first I thought this question is, what do you think like the purpose of life is, like generally? And I was going to say, I think it's a very personal question, as far as like, it's up to you to decide what you want to dedicate your life to, right?
Yeah.
Something that I'm very passionate about is like letting people know that, dude, you can go do whatever it is you want to do. Like,
Yeah.
there's like nothing really holding you back other than you and the decisions that you're making to not go do that other thing, right? So it's like, yeah, there's bills you got to pay, and of course you got to eat food, but like, you can go do anything, man. Like, just stop sitting on your phone scrolling through Instagram, which we're all addicted to, by the way. I freaking love doing that for reasons that I don't know. And it's like, but like, you can literally go do whatever it is you want to do. Like, I started a real estate business from scratch, fresh out of high school, like low-key drug addict, and was like, okay, I'm done with this shit. I'm going to go do something that's actually going to like pursue my life in a positive direction. I just started putting hardcore effort towards that, whatever that was. And it ended up getting me there, right? Like, and there's no such thing as luck and that sort of thing. It's just like my life purpose, right, is I want to get that message out to be like, oh, yo, what are you doing? What do you want to do? Why aren't you doing that thing that you want to do? And it's like, well, I don't have money for that. Well, it's okay. You can do things that don't require money that'll push that needle forward, right?
Yeah.
And it's like, all you got to do is put that effort towards it. And that kind of gives back to like what I want to tell like younger children or whatever, like kids and whatnot. Like, if you're young, you're still living at home and you live with your parents, like, first off, of course, listen to them. They're your parents. Like, you live in their house, you kind of have to live by their rules, but you're at such like a prime age to do whatever it is you want to do. Like,
Yeah.
you literally like, you have to rely on your parents when you're that young. When you're like 14, 15, you pretty much literally have to rely on your parents because you're so young. You can't even, like, you literally can't even get a job. Like, so since you're in that position of having to rely on your parents or whoever your guardian is, like, freaking lean on that, man, and like really, really, really like leverage that so that you can pursue what it is you want to do. Stop playing video games for no freaking reason, right? If you play video games, have a reason behind it, right? Go pursue video games as something that you actually want to do if that's what you really want to do. But if you're just sitting there not doing nothing, using it as an escape from reality so that you don't have to think about how you're not doing anything right now, that's silly and ridiculous. Like, go get up and do something. And the best part is, if you fail, that's awesome. That's awesome. That means you're doing something right. You can't get anywhere without failing and messing shit up. And because
Yeah.
you're in that position of like living with your parents and being able to lean on them because you're so young, you literally can't mess up. Like, if you fail, you're in the same fucking spot that you started in. What the hell's the difference? You know, it's at least you're trying something. You know what I mean? So, like, just get out there and go do it. You know, that's pretty much my biggest thing. Is like,
Get
yo,
out there
just
and go.
yeah, just freaking do something, man. Like, pursue your dreams.
My favorite Michael Jordan quote of all time is, my if you even if you don't know basketball, you know who Michael Jordan is, right? And his quote is, "I have failed." It's like a Gatorade commercial. He's like, "I've missed 300 game winners. I've missed this. I've done this wrong. I have failed over and over and over again, and that is why I succeed." Like, that
Hell
is
yeah.
like one of the most brilliant lines ever, dude. Like that's one of the things like I tell a lot of people, especially younger kids. Like, don't be afraid to just go out and mess up. Like, go get dirty. You know, who cares? At the end of the day, like, do you want to like be old and think like, wow, like I lived a very safe life, or do you want to be like, man, like I had some great times, some highs and lows, you know? And like, I choose the highs and lows. Like, I have failed so many times, so many ways. I've messed up on a lot of things, right? And it boils down to like you have to be willing to go out there and mess up and get dirty and learn from that. Like, you and some people, and I'm not saying like go out there and do hardcore drugs, like that kind of stuff. Like, I'm saying like if you want to be a streamer, or if you want to be in the lawn care business, if you want to be a bricklayer, if you want to be a fake taxi driver, like, go out there. If you even like I tell people all the time who are like, I can't afford to buy a computer or new console. I can't afford certain things, and not only can my family not afford it, but I'm like 14 years old, and I'm like, bro, I said, what kind of neighborhood you live in? Like a normal little neighborhood, blah blah blah. And I'm like, you got a lawnmower? Yeah. Go pull that lawnmower around and ask people if you can cut their grass, dude. That's the easiest way to make money at that, you know? Like, you gotta like, what can you do that other people can do too, but they might not be willing to do, you know? And if you're good, like, I know a lot of people really in our area who used to do that, dude. They'd walk around the neighborhood. I never did it, but I've seen a lot of people who walked around the neighborhood with their lawnmower. Their pull mower too, not like a riding mower. They dragged that sucker around with a gas
With a can of gas.
Yeah, and they would knock on doors and be like, "Hey, can I cut your grass for $20?" Like, yeah, go. Some people would just be like, "Yeah, go for it. I don't feel like cutting the grass today, anyways."
Right.
And some people would be offended if you ask them, but at the end of the day, you might knock on the wrong person's door who's gonna cuss you out, and then you might knock on 5 other doors that say yes right after. But if you go knock on your neighbor's door and he cusses you out for even asking him, and then you just give up right there, you would have missed those other 5 opportunities.
Mm-hmm.
So, and that's something like I love to tell people, like, don't be afraid to go out, make $100. Exactly, you make $100, dude, and like a lot of times you can come back in like a week or 2 and cut that grass again and make another $100.
Yep. Because they already know, and especially if you did a good job, right?
Yeah,
which you should
you
be
do
doing.
a good job.
You should be.
Yeah, and that's
putting
another
forth
thing
the
too.
most effort.
Like people need to do is take pride in your work. Like, don't throw up some piece of crap. Don't go and do like a piece of crap job and be mad that you didn't get a call back or you didn't. Like when I work with my family, when they do any sort of construction, whether it's remodeling, building, whatever. Most of the time, they get paid half up front and half later, and they put like so much work and so much effort in their work, and like sometimes it drives me nuts because I'm like, bro, this looks good, and he's like, nah, it's gonna mess up this way, or it doesn't look a certain way that they want it to look. Like they take such pride in their work, and it's like that really taught me to like if you're gonna do something, like do it and commit to it, even if you it might mess up, it might fall in your face, oh well, but like commit to.
Dude,
do
there's an analogy that I heard a while ago about that concept of, let me add on to something I feel like as we get older and as we learn from like our environments, I feel like the majority of people, even me, we get scared of trying new things and of failing at that thing, right? And so it's like, where does that fear come from? That fear is such an irrational thing. Like, imagine when you were like a baby, or imagine a baby, like the baby doesn't try to start walking, fall one time and say, oh, I'm never gonna walk, screw it, oh well, that's never gonna happen. It's like, no, the baby keeps trying because it doesn't know any better. Like it's ignorantly trying over and over and over again to do something that's borderline impossible for him at that age, right? He might not even have the muscles to develop that have gotten him to be able to walk, right? But through the trial and error, he or she develops that muscle to fucking walk. And guess what? Eventually it walks. Like after falling a shitload of times, just, I can even relate it to juggling, right? I learned how to juggle the other day. And my teacher was like, Luke, do you know how to learn to juggle? And I was like, yeah, you just throw these balls up and then you try to catch them. He was like, no, you got it all wrong. The way that you learn how to juggle is you drop a lot of balls. You just drop the balls over and over and over and over again, and you fail a bunch. And eventually you'll not drop them anymore, and you'll got it. Like I was like, whoa, okay. So every time I drop a ball, it's actually a good thing because I'm getting closer to actually learning how to do it, right? So
yeah,
I even lose that sometimes, that mentality of like failure is good. It's a sign of progression.
That's what
she really said. Cool.
That's what I was thinking when he said it too. Well, I wanted to add something too. I think fear is taught too. Like, I get frustrated when parents like imprint fear in their kids. How should I say this? I don't want to call anybody out. I just like
don't get in trouble, Donny.
A mother will be like say like you want to go, you and your friends want say you're a female and you and your friends want to make a podcast or something, right? You and your girlfriends want to make a podcast, and your mother's like, no, old creepy men are gonna watch you and sexually fantasize you and blah blah blah, and I don't know. I guess this is a bad example, but like,
I think it's a pretty good example.
but like when a parent like instills fear into their kids on attempting things, like my dad used to always tell me, why do you play video games? Like, that's the dumbest use of your time ever. And I'm like, dude. And then now look at like pro video gamers, dude. They make a killing. It's a career
Right.
now, and there's a lot more like people also forget this is like the beginning. You know what I mean?
What do you mean by the beginning?
I still think like the video game business bubble is like brand new.
Dude, yeah,
And
okay. Yeah, I'm with you on that for sure.
like things that like I feel like so like Twitch, right? My Twitch account's like 6 or 7 years old. I didn't stream on it back then, but like it's that old. I made an account because I used to watch Soda Pop and play WoW when he used to do like WoW PvP videos, and a couple other like WoW streamers. But aren't video games educational? Not really. I think they can be, but for the most part they're not. Um,
Yeah. And
but
actually, to touch on that for half a second, I think what Donnie, correct me if I'm wrong, but what I think kind of like, just to add on to what you're getting at, like when parents are like scaring their kids or whatever, or instilling fear into them, it's not that they're like trying to make them scared. That's not the objective. Like 99% of the time, it's the parents trying to watch out for their kids
yeah,
and
it's
ultimately wanting the best for their kids, right? And that's totally acceptable. But you as the kid, you gotta be cautious and pay attention to, like, okay, are my parents like,
is this the
are,
best
are
interest?
right? Well, like they are trying to do what's best for you, and instruct you in a way that's what's best for you. But it comes to a certain point when you gotta ask yourself, does this align with my goals, right? Don't be a douchebag kid and like say, screw you mom, screw you dad, but like,
Yeah,
you know have civil conversations with them and put actual thought into, okay, now does my mom, is she just scared for me, and she wants me to follow a path that she knows is successful, right? And it's like, sure, that path might be successful, but hey, mom, look, I don't want to go down that path.
yeah,
That's great. I know that you went through it, and it works for you, but I really want to try this other thing. Can
exactly.
you please let me try this other thing? Like, I'm very passionate about that, and have that civil kind of conversation with your parents if you're looking for that kind of approval.
And your
And if you're
parents,
fired up, yeah, keep
your,
going,
your,
Donnie.
your parents may never understand it too. Like your
Yeah.
parents will probably never understand it, even if you're a success. Like there's people I talk to or not talk to, people I listen to a lot of, um, like people who talk about I guess like success and how they got to their success and like just different aspects of different things, and there's like a majority of them always say like my parents don't understand anything that I do. They just know, they just see the money, like, and they're proud of me. And I think like that's kind of like where things are shifting as far as how the online market is working, if that makes sense.
I was reading Omega's comment, so I kind of tuned out like in the middle of that, like right in the middle segment. So I think I missed the meat. What was that, Donnie?
I said
Sounded powerful.
a lot of like I feel like a lot of like successful people in today's day and age who are successful like on an online platform and they make their income from some way on the online market. Um, they like one of the things that they almost all say is that their parents hated it when they started it and they love it now, and they still, even at when they're at a point of making like millions, their parents still have no clue and they don't understand it.
Yeah. I mean, to share a personal example of that, like my grandma, she still is like, every time I see my grandma, she's always kind of like, "Hey, Luke, what's going on?" And I'm like, "Oh, just messing with the houses or whatever." and she like doesn't really understand what's going
Yeah.
on. So she tries to, inform me on what she knows is best, right? And she's like, "Hey, Luke, how about you become a realtor and get your real estate license?" Almost every time I talk to her, and I'm like, "Yeah, that's great. I could do that, but Grandma, that's not what I want to do. I love your input, but that's not what I want to do. Like
Yeah.
I've looked into that, and you've really pushed me to look into that, and I have, and I'm grateful for that, but." What I'm doing is working really well for me, and that's not a path I want to go down. I won't get into why it doesn't really work, but um, yeah, and that's just her trying her best, right? And there's
Yeah.
nothing, even though she says it every time I see her, it's not like I'm upset about it and I get mad at her for it because I know she's coming from a really good place of love and care, and she really wants what's best for me, and that alone shows that she loves and cares for me and makes me appreciate her and what she does, right? But at the same time, it's okay for me to say no to that, and for you to say no to that if someone's trying to get you to do a certain thing. Now there's a point when it's like, hey, be reasonable with like, you're not going anywhere with this, right? You have to identify when that's happening too, and not saying you should quit and stop doing that, but it's like, what can I change to make this work, right? Because what I'm doing right now is not working. What's not working? How do I change this to make it work, right? Like if it's something that works, like what do you need to change? Like for me personally, for my real estate stuff, 9 freaking months, I called from 9 a.m. till 6 p.m. every single day. I was on the phone calling people, and I did not make a single dollar for 9 months doing that. Like busting my balls, busting my ass, right? And I was like, I know this works. I know this works. I really want to do this shit, but like, why isn't it working? Right. And it took some serious evaluation of stepping back and being like, yo, look, this is not working, Luke. Like, you got to do something different. You got to make this work, or you need to find something else to do. And so what I did is I took a step back and I was like, yo, okay, what is it that I'm doing? Let's try this other thing, because what I'm doing right now is not working. And eventually I was able to figure it out and shift some things that I was doing in order to make that work, right? If I would have just mindlessly continued to go down that same path and not evaluated and made those changes, like, I would have run myself into the ground, and I would have probably stopped doing it and give up on my dream for that. But, taking some of that evaluation is really important. And when your parents and people around you are saying like, "Hey, this isn't working," take that as a sign of like, "Hey, maybe this isn't working. Should I look into this a little bit more?" But at the same time, you got to be cautious that they don't pull you too far away from your dreams, right? Because you
Yeah.
still want to go after that and
I
pursue
have
it.
a I have a question for you, but based off of what all you just said, but we skipped over a question. Um, I want to answer that real quick. What do you guys think about the young people out there that twerk and show their abs for followers and clout? I mean, if you got it, flaunt it. I think sex appeal
Yeah.
is and will always be the number one selling market. There's a reason. Uh, there's a lot of reasons for that, and if you got it, flaunt it. I've told everyone and their mom, if I was a hot chick, you best believe I would have been streaming a long time ago with some cleavage out, and I would have abused that hot chick vibe. So I have no issues with it. Just being a pretty face also will not always work. Like
Hmm.
there's got to be more to you, especially marvelous, especially nowadays, dude. Like if you could be a pretty, like, look at Amanda Carney, right? She went on Twitch. She went live on Twitch one day and was like, if I don't get 500 followers, like, it's not even worth my time looking at this website. And like, or not 500 followers, 500 subs. She went like 500 subs in like an hour's worth of time. She's like, if I don't get 500 subs, like, it's not even worth my time. And she got so much backlash and hate from that. And so like, at some point you can get away with being a pretty face for a hot minute, but at some point, you'll disappear.
Yeah, I think that's a great point. I think it depends on a lot with like what do you want to do, right? Like, if you want to go into the pornography business, do that. But like, if that's not what you want to do, and you're just flaunting your
Your
boobs and
goods.
ass because it gets likes and shit, like that's not going to go anywhere, right? You're not. That seems very unfulfilling to me, right? Like
Yeah.
now, if you're doing that for like fitness and you're like, hey, check out my body because I did an amazing transformation from this to this, and you want to inspire and help people grow in that kind of a manner, that's great. And I think that that kind of flaunting of like, hey, this is what my body looks like comparatively to what it used to look like that's freaking awesome. Like, go inspire people with that. That's a very powerful message. But if it's just for the likes and the follows and that sort of thing, sure, whatever you like to do, go do that. But just so you know, that's probably not going anywhere unless you learn how to monetize that and use that to deliver some sort of message or sell something on there, right? And there's some people that just are selling their OnlyFans, which is like, okay, sure, whatever, but now you're in the porn business, low key, you know. So it's like, what do you want to do?
Did you see my tweet the other day? I said, kids are gonna be. I said I feel bad for kids in like 10, 12 years when their classmates keep sending them their parents' old OnlyFan videos and pictures.
Dude, that's freaking hilarious. I had never thought of that before.
Dude, that's
I
gonna
think,
happen, dude.
dude, it is. I think
They're
I
gonna
know
be
some
like,
moms that have OnlyFans. It's kind of
oh, I
weird.
know a lot of them. Dude, their kids are gonna be furious.
That is so funny. Oh my gosh, I hadn't
Who
even thought of that.
who is or was your role model? Family or famous people? I can answer that pretty quick.
Get it?
You want me to get it? My role model, especially growing up, I would say was my dad because, man, if you know me, some people know this or don't know this, but I grew up poor, and then by the time I was like 14, 15, my parents finally started making money for themselves. I was born when both my parents were like 17, 16, 17. Um, Sister was dying laughing about that. Margot wrote Ruby. I always say her name wrong. Anyways, um, like just from like where I came from, the things I've seen. We lived in a trailer park until I was in like fourth grade. We lived in Tennessee too. We moved to Louisville where my family is. Um, and like both my parents they tried to work things out. It didn't work out. They split up. It took them both, as separate entities. It took them both a while to like figure out their lives. I mean, they're young. They're younger than me,
Mm-hmm.
and having to live on their own. I couldn't imagine being like 21, 22 with what was that at that point, like 6 or 7, and then another like 3-year-old. So two
Yeah,
kids,
that's a lot going on, man.
yeah, two kids, single, and having to like live on your own in a completely different state from your own family, and then things kind of like really hit the fan. So then we moved back to our family, and just all kinds of stuff. Like we've been through a lot, and then now right around when I was in like 14, like in middle school, my dad started working for Honda World. He sold cars, and that was like his first like really good job. He made really good money, but he was never home. Somebody walking in. It keeps sounding like somebody's walking in the room. But and then from there he ended up moving to home loans. He got his mortgage license, started selling home loans, and like my dad's a hard worker. He's the type of guy that works all day, every day. He loves the grind. He's really good with talking with people. He's a great business mindset person. And like I've just seen, he went from like this crazy little dad party guy to a very respectful person. People around here respect him. He makes a lot of money. I don't want to say how much he makes, but he does well. And my mom's doing well. She has her own business in Virginia. I mean, don't count her out. She does really well. And then both my, like my parents. I'm a very observant person, and it's like I'm the type of person whenever like if you draw a line, I'm gonna like think about why you drew the line a certain way and why the line looks that way and why like I don't just like look at the line and be like, that line's crooked as hell, like whatever.
That's crooked as hell.
Like I analyze things, and I've always been like that for some reason. I analyze everything, and I think that's why I love like sports, because like I can watch you do like a athletic play and break it down in my head, and then do it myself usually. But as long as it's not like something crazy like dunking, I'll never be able to dunk. Um, but but anyways, so like watching them two grow up and like mature as individuals and stuff, like I really learned from that myself, and like that really instilled in me like you can legit be anything you want to be. It just you have to put the work in for it, because I watched two people do it. And when both my parents like finally like matured out and remarried and stuff, I was very at that point I was like a sophomore in high school, I think, and I was still like I was a punk, and it took me a while to like open up to my step parents and different things, and I actually learned a lot from my stepmom's dad. He is like a very well-known builder in our state. People know him and his family name all over. He actually really taught me a lot as a person, because around like 16, 17, that's when I would work for him in the summers. And like a lot of those, when you're working, you and another dude are in a house working on something hard, and you're just kind of talking all day about nonsense, I learned a lot, and like I owe a lot to that guy. He really helped me mature as a person. So like I would definitely say like my dad and my step grandpa, David, they really helped me out a ton. Those two are my role models. I can go to them for anything.
That's dope. That's important. That's some good energy to have in your life like that. That's some dope stuff.
Yeah, and like I think there's nothing wrong with growing up poor. Like I don't know if that sounded negative or anything. There's nothing wrong with growing up poor. I think growing up poor has its advantages and disadvantages. I think if you grow up poor, like I see a lot more poor people do better than people who grew up with wealth, because people with wealth almost
they're freaking lazy.
They're lazy and they have no respect.
I think that's a big blanket. That's a big blanket statement, but yeah,
they usually don't have respect. Like to be honest, I didn't have to buy my first car. My first car was a nice car. I didn't have to buy it. My parents gave it to me. It was considered to everyone else around me, it was a really nice car. And I tore that thing to pieces. I didn't care about it. And then later on, when I bought my own car with my own money, I really respected that car. I still respect it. And I take good care of it. So, and that's how I feel like I've become with a lot of things. Like it's like when I started making my own money, my dad cut me out, and then my mom, I mean, she still spoils me to this day. But
dude, that's what moms do. I feel like that's what moms do.
My mom spoils me. It's the type of spoils that are like my mom's the type of person, like, she would give you her last dollar if it made you happy, Whereas my dad's more so the type that's like, nah, like, you gotta earn this last dollar somehow. Like, you gotta go and shovel the driveway or something. Like, I'm not giving you
better
this
shine my
dollar.
shoes, boy.
Yeah, I'm not giving you this dollar for nothing. And so, but I think that's good. Like, when you grow up poor, you respect things, and you respect the things that you have. You take care of things. Even something as little as like cleaning your own shoes on a weekly basis, and taking care of your room, cleaning your bedroom, making your bed, type of stuff, are good habits to have. I feel like growing up, that you think it's really dumb, but like if you grow up doing that, you learn to like respect and value your items.
Yeah.
And that's something some wealthy people instill that in their kids, and some wealthy people just let their kids do whatever they want,
Mm-hmm. 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 Yeah, there's definitely a fine line, and I think a lot of times that gets kind of crossed sometimes with like the respect of what's what's in front of you. And the biggest thing for me thinking about like having a kid myself, it's like, how the hell do I raise somebody who, like, I want to see my kids pursue their dreams and power through any obstacle that's in front of them, right? Because I know that that's possible. So that's one of the biggest things. How the hell do I do that?
Yeah. I mean, I love my daughter Amelia. I don't know how my son's gonna be yet, but my daughter Amelia, I feel like she's got a bright future ahead of her because she literally has no fear, like none. Dude, she will do, and she reminds me a lot of myself. Like I didn't really have fear. I still don't to an extent, and not having fear I feel like is a blessing in today's age. But
Mm-hmm.
like I never really had fear until I broke some bones, and then I was like, yeah, I don't think I want to do that kind of stuff anymore. And so,
Right.
you start
Maybe I
really,
won't jump off that cliff.
yeah, you start like double thinking things, and like I'm pretty good at kind of being like, all right, 1, 2, 3, go, like mentally, like cliff jumping. Like last summer, I jumped off like the highest cliff I've ever jumped off of, and when I got up there, I was like, nah, yeah, this ain't happening. And my buddy who came up behind me, it was so funny because he came up behind me, and he literally just went. He didn't say. He was like, nope, don't think about it, and just went, and jumped off, and like he rocked it out. And if it wouldn't have been for him coming behind me and doing that, I would have not jumped off that. Like I know I wouldn't have because I got
Mm.
up there and I was like, nope, this is higher than I thought it was. Screw this. And so like when he did that, I was just like mind blown. I was like, dude, that's right. Like screw this, I'm going. And I just went. I didn't think about it. Ow. And I think that's how you should be with anything. Like if say you're a door-to-door salesman, right? You might have a set of houses to go knock on and try to sell to, and you might be thinking when you get there, you might be thinking the whole drive there like, I don't think I can do this. I don't think I can do this. I don't think I can do this. Sweating like crazy, like super scared. And then you finally get to that door and you're like, you get to the house and you look at the door and you're like, nope, I'm out. And you might turn around and drive home. But if you could be sitting there thinking that like, I don't think I can do this. And then when you get there and just 1, 2, 3, go, you never know what happens, dude. Go knock on the door. And I feel
Yeah,
like
that's
that's how Amelia's gonna be though. She's just gonna be a 1, 2, 3, go.
that's dope. That's dope. I think that brings up a concept about like fear and courage. That I think we're getting a little distracted, but I wouldn't mind seeing where this goes. Maybe getting some questions from chat, but like a lot of people think fear, like even we kind of touched on it a little bit earlier, that fear is almost like a bad thing, but I don't know, it's not really that bad of a thing sometimes. If you don't put your hand on a hot stove because you know it's going to burn, you're
Yeah,
scared of
yeah,
getting
yeah,
burnt,
yeah.
like you're just not going to do that, right? But a lot of people think that fear is like really bad, and it's just kind of like you need to totally avoid it. But sometimes it keeps you from doing stupid shit, and that I don't know where I'm going with that. But what I really wanted to say is courage doesn't mean you have a lack of fear. Courage just means that you're able to pursue through the fear even though you're scared, right?
Yeah, courage
So
is good.
everybody's freaking scared. Everybody's freaking scared of doing anything, right? You just
All right,
gotta
outlaw.
freaking later outlaw. You just gotta power through and go through it. And that's a courage is a skill that's developed. It's like a muscle. You gotta continuously power through what you're scared of, and that'll build your courage muscle, and you
It
can
takes practice. It
continue to do shit. Yeah. It's like everything.
takes practice. It
But where
takes
are we
time.
going? I feel like we've
Oh,
gotten
we got really off track here. We were
we
talking.
got
I
really far.
wanted to ask you a question too, because you were talking about you went 9 months.
Player.
You went 9 months without making money. You
Yeah.
took a serious look at yourself, and you changed. You needed to make change, and this, that, and the other. Um, I wrote this down because I knew I would forget it, and I looked over and I remembered now. So, like, my question to you would be, at what point do you think, like, at what point did you know you needed to change something? Like, because a lot of people say consistency is key,
It
and
is.
you need to stick with it and be consistent. So at what point do you know or realize that, hey, this isn't working, I need to change it up, and then stick to the change up?
So that's a really hard question, and that it really depends on. It's a lot of personal like take on that, right? So it depends on the goal and what it is that you want to do, and blah 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 blah, right? So, like for example, I would say I'm trying to avoid talking about my business and marketing because I know that that's not necessarily applicable to everybody that's watching this right now. Like, so if you want to try something out, whether that's a new business venture, I guess let's talk about it on a business venture side of things. Like, if you want to try something where you're going to go off and make money on your own, you need to set a time period for yourself of like, hey, this is how long I'm personally committed to this, right? And so I tell people that you need to commit to something for absolutely no less than 6 months. Because let me just share with you a personal experience about that. In my business, we send out a lot of marketing. We do thousands of dollars of marketing every single month, and we do not see any return from that money until 4 months after we spend that money. So we spend $5,000 in January. We're not going to see any return from that money until August, at least. A lot of times it's May, June, July, or not August. I didn't mean August. January, February, March, April. I meant April. So a lot of times we don't see money from that until like April, May, June, July, right? And
Mm-hmm.
so you got to commit to something for at least 6 months, is what I say, is what I tell people. But I say that with caution because there's a caveat to that. You need to be constantly evaluating yourself and evaluating what's going on, right? So we track all of the stuff that we do in my business, and I try to look at that on a daily basis. Do I do that? No, it's usually like every other day, but I try to get to it on a daily basis and look at those numbers and say, okay, look, yesterday we made this many phone calls, we got this many leads and this many contracts. And so if any of those numbers start to look weird or start to dwindle down, then we have to change something, right? And if you're not tracking what's going on, you can't identify where that issue lies. So what was your question again? And I'll wrap it up.
It was on consistency. Like, at what point did you know to change your how what you were doing? Like,
I
how
mean, dude,
long did you do the
it
same
wasn't
thing,
working.
and then you were like, all right, I need to change this up. Like, I know consistent, because that's what a lot of people say. Like, if something's not working, they're like, well, just keep doing it, keep trying, keep
Hmm.
trying, keep trying.
Yep.
But it's like, so like, at what point do
How
you
do you
realize?
tell when it's
Yeah,
not?
yeah. When do you know that you need to change?
I think that's I think it's God dang it. That's it's such a personal question. What happened? Is that you stretching?
Yeah, sorry.
Okay, that scared me. I mean, it's such a personal question. Like, I would say commit to something for 6 months, and if it's not working,
Change it
say,
up.
look at your options. Be like, yo, I'm doing this. Is there any results coming from this? Like, is there any potential of results from this? And if that answer is no, try to do something else and then treat it like you're starting from zero. If you change something, the 6 month timer starts over again. Don't change 2 months in and be like, oh, great, now I have 4 more months. And then at 4 months, if it's not working, now you change again. Now you're changing way too freaking much. If you change something, that 6 month timer starts over. For me, in that 9 month experience, what happened is about halfway through that, I realized, holy shit, man, it's been 4.5 months and I haven't seen any kind of results from any of this stuff. Like, what the hell do I do? At that time, I didn't realize that the work I was doing when I started wasn't even going to come to fruition for at least another 4 months. I didn't understand that law yet, or that rule that happens in my business, right? I didn't understand that, and the only way you're going to understand that is with time and that consistency. So yeah, Donnie, consistency is huge. um
All right.
but
Go
what
ahead. Sorry. Sorry. Go ahead. I thought you were
I was
done.
I was just gonna say, like, at that 4.5 month time period, for me personally, at that point, I realized I was doing a lot. I was doing multiple things and I wasn't focused. Like for me, I was doing a bunch of different marketing, right? Like I was cold calling, I was texting people, I was sending out mail, I was putting yard signs in people's yards, I was knocking on doors, I was doing everything, and I wasn't focused, and I wasn't developing one thing, right? And so at that halfway mark, that 4.5 month period, I was like, screw it, I'm only going to cold call people. And so from that point forward, for the next 4.5 months, I decided to cold call people only. And that produced a lot of results. If you want some help on like understanding how to choose that one thing, there's a book out there called The One Thing. And I would read that and spend some serious time picking what that one thing is and sticking to that thing for 6 months at least before you make any drastic changes or differences in there.
Yeah, cool. I recommend if you're young in the chat, start reading at a young age, because if you're older and you try to start reading, it's going to be a very frustrating process. Pick up that habit
dude.
now. I hate reading. Anyways.
Reading is huge, man. I used to hate it, and it's awesome.
Let's answer Omega's question and then get into gaming for like the next 15 minutes, and then we got to end off. If that's cool.
I'm cool with that.
So he asks, where was your first date and did you enjoy it? Do you remember your first date?
Date? My first date?
Date.
Like with a girl?
Like with a female. Or male. I mean, I don't know what your cup of tea is.
My personal cup of tea is female. I have a lot of friends that like males, but hey, that's their gig. I don't think I remember my first date. Donny, do you remember yours?
Define date, I guess.
Yeah.
That's.
Okay. So I had growing up. I had this girl. She was my neighbor. Her name was Emily Schroeder, and when we were younger, we were like, we grew up together, and so we were like, oh, you want to like kiss, and we like kissed every now and again, and we were little kids, and it was a fun time. We were hanging out, and then she like moved away, and then when we got a little bit older, we kind of like reconnected through like texting and stuff, and I mean, I think I was like 10 probably, or 11, or maybe 12 at this point. And I was like, maybe I was older than that. Maybe it was like 13, 14. It's probably 13, 14. And we went to see this scary movie with my mom, because we couldn't go to movies by ourselves. So my mom had to like chaperone us on the date. And we went to this movie. We saw like a slasher movie. It was super scary. And we just sat there and was watching the movie in the movie theaters. And I think I like awkwardly like held her hand like next to my mom in the movie theater. It was really weird and really awkward. I think that's what it was.
Dude, my first date. I don't know which one was my first date, man. I don't think I really went on a date until I was like in 7th grade. Because, like, I always had like a buzz cut. And then 6th grade summer, me and some friends were like, let's grow out our hair. And I was like, yeah, I'm down. So I grew out my hair, so cool. And I, created what would later be called the Bieber flip, which is actually the Donny flip. Anyways.
It's actually the Donny flip.
Anyways, I created the Bieber flip because he was not even like a thing at that time. And, dude, I remember like that year, like 7th grade year was like my lady year, dude. Like all of a sudden girls were just in line, dude. Not even joking. But I was very shy when it comes to girls, and I'm very selective. And I think my first date was with a girl named Crystal. I knew she liked me, but I didn't really like her. And but I was too nice to like tell her no. So I went to a high school football game with her and her older friends. And luckily I had some older friends there too, which kind of like saved the day for me. And I mean, I walk, like high school games, there's like the track around the football field. You walk around the football field with your friends and goof off the whole time. And I like left her to go hang out with my friends for most of the day, and then came back with her. and her mom like took us home, and I kissed her in the car, and then walked
Aw.
inside, and never hung out with her again. So I don't know if that really, I don't know if that counts, but I guess that's my first date. I was a very like crappy person to her.
That sounds like some cute young love.
Yeah, cute young love. Never really. It's funny too, cause like we had like all classes together, like in middle school.
Yeah, it's funny. And
So,
then
like-
y'all never hung out again.
Like the next day, she was like saying that we were boyfriend and girlfriend. I was like, no, we're not.
I
That's how they were
don't
like,
know her.
We're not. I went to the football game and
That's
everything.
so
Like,
funny.
I don't know. I always
We're
felt
not
bad for that
dating.
though.
Yeah.
I used to be a
I
I used to be a player, man. I used to.
Donny, what are you breaking these girls' hearts?
I did break some hearts, I guess.
Women are for nurturing, Donny. You gotta nurture women, build them up.
Yeah, I went through a bad boy phase and then met my wife and was like chilled out.
This is her. This
This
is
is
the
her.
love of my life.
This is her. I chilled out. Now I was pretty chill before I met her. Donnie looked to play Roblox. Was a player case. Bro, it was weird because like I went from like no girls were really interested in me and then like grew my hair out and then it was like they were all interested in me and I was like, yeah, I think the hair's gonna stay, you know?
I think the hair's gonna say. That's funny, dude. So, do you want to transition into a little bit of some gaming stuff? What we're excited about in the future?
Yeah, what are you excited about, Luke? We both have different takes on video games. I know I
Dude,
like
huge
player
difference.
versus player, and you like I feel like you love single player and like you like the grind.
It's really weird, man, because I like those kind of games, but like I won't play. It's really hard for me to play those games like by myself. Like
Yeah.
I
Understandable.
love those games, and I think even more than I like playing them, I like watching other people play them, and that's something that I kind of want to offer to other people. Is kind of like maybe I could do some sort of streaming where I'm playing the game and people are hanging out, and, you know, chatting and whatnot. Some of the games I'm excited about is this new Harry Potter game, Harry Potter Hogwarts Legacy. That sounds
yeah.
dope. Oh my gosh, I'm super excited about that. I really am in love with Ratchet and Clank. That's gonna be. I don't know if I'm gonna get to play that, but I would really love to play that game. And then just some other games. There's Deathloop. It's kind of like a. I don't know. It's like a roguelike, I guess, where you kind of like spawn in, see how far you can get, and if you die, you start over. I think that's what a roguelike means. Um, that's going to be cool. You're on like a mission to assassinate people, and there's another player in there trying to stop you, and if you can assassinate all of them, you win. And as you die and go back and play again, you learn new stuff, get new abilities, and you're able to assassinate more people and learn how to do it better and quicker. And it's just pretty cool little game. It intrigues me. What about you, Donnie?
Yo, Klaus, thank you for the follow. So I mean, really, I'm not. There's not a whole lot of games. I researched last night and tried, dude. I really tried. There's not a lot of games that are really piquing my interest that are coming out or that I would be excited about. I'm honestly excited that World of Warcraft announced that they're releasing the Burning Crusade Classic. So if you don't know what that is, World of Warcraft, I mean, that's just a big game. World of Warcraft has been like my childhood. Like that, I will probably never be able to quit playing World of Warcraft, even though I never play it. I'll probably never be able to like just like rid my life of World of Warcraft. It's just gonna be there. Cyberpunk, but like I love. So they're bringing back the Burning Crusade Classic, and that's like, so there's different versions of WoW. There's retail WoW, which is like what WoW is today with all its modern updates and stuff. And then there's WoW Classic, and WoW Classic's like OG WoW, right? It's you like 2006 World of Warcraft, the same graphics, the same playstyle, everything, right? And so classic WoW was like the very first WoW, and then they're upgrading it to the Burning Crusade, which was the next expansion. The Burning Crusade was the expansion where like I really like lost and invested a lot of time into WoW when I was like in middle school, dude. Like I remember like coming home from school and just jumping on that game every day. And if a friend came over, I was pissed. But
He was like, "No, I want to play
I
WoW.
want to play WoW. Like, can you like
Go
leave?
home, get
You
on the
can-
computer, and play WoW with me."
Yeah, if you want to have an interaction, you better be on WoW. Anyways, I loved the Burning Crusade. It's supposed to come out around the same time my son is born, so I will be off of work. So hopefully I'll be able to like squeeze some time on WoW. I will more than likely not stream it, to be honest though, because it's like a boring grind unless I get to like max level and can start doing PvP, because that's my like play type. I love PvP. I love player versus player. You know, that's why I love playing Fortnite right now, because it's immediate hot action, dude. Get on there, drop, fight. If you die, it's a really quick redo. Drop, fight,
Right.
drop, fight, drop, fight. I love that. And so I'm looking forward to the Burning Crusade. What was the other thing I was looking forward to? Oh, Ashes of Creation. Hey, what's up, James? Yee. Anyways, if you've ever heard of Ashes of Creation, that's a really big hyped up game right now. That's gonna drop. It doesn't really have a release date. I've been thinking about buying the pre-alpha key for it. It'd be like $250. So, but that would mean like
Whoa.
I'm one of the few people who would stream it. So that might be a good investment. That's one of them things like. That's talking about making mistakes. You know, I could do that and nothing really happens when I stream it, and I lose that money, or something big happens. Who knows? It doesn't really it doesn't really matter. But it would be. I
So
think it'd be,
Ashes of Creation, is it kind of like a WoW?
it's like WoW but different. So it's an open world MMO, and it has a node system in the game, which basically means, say you're an orc, so your race is an orc, and you and a bunch of other orcs hang out in one spot in the map or on the world. That spot will eventually become a town, and it will be orc themed because you're all orcs. And then the more people who come to this spot, the more it will advance up. There's player housing. There's all kinds of and different things. Like there's a really cool like economic system in it, and it's like all open world player versus player. Like
Whoa.
it looks really sick. And
So there's no PvE, it's only PvP?
there's PvE, but like you could be out like you could be farming. Like say you're a farmer, you have your own house and you have a farm and stuff. You could be farming one day, all of a sudden you get raided. Like you never
Damn.
really know, you know. Nothing's safe, and the world is constantly changing. So the world will, like, you might play 1 year, stop, come back, and then it's like, wait a minute, there used to be a city here. Like, oh yeah, you know, in March this crazy stuff happened, and these people came and took over and tore the city down, and now it's turning into this over here. Like,
Wow.
it's a always evolving game.
That's badass. So whenever you, let's see, whenever you, like, do you build in it, or is it kind of like whenever you hang out in that environment, it just builds up by itself?
I think it's when you hang out in that environment, it builds up by itself.
That's pretty cool.
Core, we'll play Fortnite soon, my guy. Core's a beast. at
when's
Fortnite.
the Fortnite?
But yeah, I'm really looking forward to that. And of course, you know, some people know this, some people don't, but I love NBA 2K. So I'm looking forward to the next NBA 2K.
Nice. Dude, Donny, if you get the alpha key, let me know. I'll freaking play with you. It seems pretty dope.
Dude, it's sick. You should look up the videos on it.
Dude, I'm watching some right now.
It's a really sick game. It's going to be a very time-consuming game, but it looks awesome. And I think there's some opportunity there if you can afford to get the I know those guys. If you can get the beta key.
OMG, it's Donny and
Santa!
Thanks, Omega.
Such a big fan. So, and that's really it, man. You have anything you want to add?
Ashes of Creation looks freaking dope. That's what I want to add.
I followed your OnlyFans. Yeah, thanks.
Dude, sweet. Did you sign up for the premium account? It's that $8,000 a month.
Or 80,000 bits. I mean, which way you want
Or
to look at it?
80,000 bits.
And I bought it. Oh, he's in, dude. He's in.
Let's go. Hell yeah.
All right. Well, I guess it's time. We need to find somebody to raid.
Raid.
Anybody in the chat have somebody they'd like us to raid off the rip? And I'll follow you home as well. Oh, that's a little trippy.
Yikes. I'm looking for somebody to raid.
What type of game? Want to do Valheim? Val whatever? I don't know how you say it. That's why I just say Val.
Valheim. Val.
Find somebody with like no views.
This guy's got 15 viewers.
Nah, we need like one.
Two?
We need like one or two.
Found somebody with 8.
Raid Swanky? I could.
Who's Swanky?
Swanky's a friend of mine. He's a Swedish guy? Sweden or Norwegian? One of those two.
I thought
He's really-
Swanky was Mike.
No, his name's actually Swanky Kong.
Swanky Kong. What's up, brother?
We can raid him. Let's raid him. He gives me some fat raids. He's a good guy. Raid. Well, I guess we gotta. This is our goodbyes, everyone. Thank you, everybody. I can't believe the turnout we had, dude.
Yeah.
I was expecting
freaking,
like
a
one or
steady
two
10 people.
I was expecting like 1 or 2 views. This is awesome. Thank you, everyone
Hell
who
yeah,
came
dude.
through.
Hope we dropped some value.
Hope you guys learned something. I hope it was entertaining. I mean, it seemed like
Yeah.
most people stayed. So
For sure. Oh,
was
dude,
fun.
guys, message Donny what you guys want to hear next. Are we gonna
Yeah,
try to do this
send us-
regularly, Donny?
yeah, every Sunday, bro. You down?
I'm down.
We gotta do it every Sunday
I'm 100% in.
for 6
same
months.
time.
At least 6
Yep.
months, he said.
At least 6 months. I'm in on that.
All right, cool. All right, this was awesome. We'll see you guys later. We're gonna upload this to YouTube. I'll probably have. It's so long. We'll probably have to. I'll probably break it up into different parts. But let's go. See ya. In like 9 seconds, we'll see ya.
8,
Everybody, tell Swanky
7.
he's beautiful.
6. How do I be a part of this raid?
Stay in the view or in the channel, I guess.